Hi, thank you for joining us this afternoon. We are Next Steps OPRF. We are easing the transitions after high school and into life. We are part of the Leadership Lab Cohort 2, and we are the education group. This is Patrice, Karen, Adam, I am Elise, and this is Jamie. And we'd like you to get your cell phones out. In an ideal world, we would be followed around by this combination of our grandmother and Merlin, who would lovingly teach us how to do each and everything in the world, said Kelly Williams Brown, author of the 2013 book, Adulting, How to Become a Grown-Up in 535 Easy-ish Steps. In the absence of that, it can be nice to have some resources. So on that note, let's play a little game where we can test your life skills.
All right, so we're gonna play a game called Kahoot. It's more or less a quiz game. I see you already following my instructions, that's great. So 4 easy steps. First, go to kahoot.it, not kahoot.com, okay? Then you're gonna enter a PIN. I have yet to give it to you, don't worry, it's coming. And then you're gonna enter a nickname. If it happens to be John Mayer, no problem. Slick Rick is fine too. JD, if you wanna go by your real name, we're fine with that as well. This is all for fun and games. There are no winners here, okay? Just kidding, we're all winners. All right, so then finally we're gonna play. So you're gonna notice that your cell phone is gonna turn into a keypad. And then the colors will coordinate with those up on the screen. So I'll go ahead and give you a couple seconds to enter that PIN, which is 654877. Go ahead and enter your nickname. I better see one John Mayer out there. All right, we're gonna have Elise host the game. I'm gonna go ahead and get it started.
Spice cake.
Are you ready to play? So when did you learn how to sew a button? Was it on or before 18 to 24 years old? Blue would be 25 to 35 years old. Yellow is 36 and over. And green would be I bring my buttons to the dry cleaner. Oh, very nice. So the home ec era is fully represented here in the house. So the second question is, when did you learn about your credit score? Was it before or during 18 to 24? The blue would be 25 to 35. Yellow is 36 and over. And green is I still do not know what a credit score is. 25 to 35. That's a good one. You've got it, though. So when did you first learn how to make spaghetti? Was it before or during 18 to 24 for red? Blue would be 25 to 35. Yellow is 36 and over. And green would be I do not want to boil water. Congratulations. We're all eating well. And so when did you first learn how to manage your time? Was it red before or during 18 to 24? Blue is 25 to 35. Yellow is 36 and over. And green would be like me. I still don't know how to manage my time. Congratulations to the bulk of the audience. Good stuff. So my last question would be, have you gone through a rough transition in your life?
Yes. No one?
Anyone? Raise your hands.
Raise your hand if you've been through a tough transition. Okay. So transitions are hard, and we know this, okay? And what we want to specifically talk about, and what I want to congratulate all of you on, is a lot of you know how to do these common adult skills, okay? But the reality is for our young adults is that they are struggling in the transition from secondary to post-secondary life, okay? And I want to give you some statistics to more readily illustrate that for you. Who in here has heard of the term adulting? Okay. For those of you that don't know, the 2016 Webster Word of the Year, okay? As you can see from the graph behind me, the use of it has been going up exponentially over time, especially over the last couple of years. For us, this illustrates a different thing going on here. Okay, adulting is, in general, the idea that of accomplishing mundane adult tasks, things like registering to vote, checking your credit score, buying car insurance. Okay, so these things all have a negative connotation. All right, and what it illustrates for us is that young people are struggling in that transition to adulthood. And I have some facts for you in regards to that. Do you know currently 1 in 3 millennials still lives with their parents? Okay? That is more than any other generation previously. Millennials are 3 times more likely than any generation in history to ask for financial help from their parents. Okay? So, in general, millennials are struggling in that transition and are delaying the adulthood move more and more. A couple things are going on here, but one core thing is, in terms of those life skills, they're also not being taught in secondary education anymore. According to NPR, the whole MET classes are going away. In most high schools, they're completely going away, which means we don't have access anymore to that education and to training in terms of those skills that allow us to transition. It's also impacting kids going on to college. When you talk about continuing education students, so there's a 74% retention rate there. For first generation students, it's even lower, 56%. There's bridge programs that exist for these colleges, but they're mainly based on academics. So they're helping kids transition academically. Our assertion is that transition is as much emotional and social as it is academic. And that's where we think we can help. The final piece, and the most disturbing piece for me, is the average 25-year-old currently has $42,000 in debt. Now I read that and I thought to myself, okay, cost of education going up, mostly student loans. The majority of that is high-interest credit card debt. Okay? So our young people are really struggling with managing their finances, and we want to help with that transition.
Transitions are hard, and it sounds like some of our high school kids need our help. I'm going to tell you a bit more about transitions and a bit more about the Oak Park community. My own daughter really took a long time to transition from preschool to kindergarten. It took months. There were new rules to learn, new people to meet, and not everyone was nice. And even as an adult, I know that transitions are tough. I've worked and lived in a bunch of different countries, and when you first land in a new place, it's overwhelming. You feel like you're just in deep water right over your head. You're disoriented. You don't know what's going on. Eventually, you start to surface. And eventually, you can find your bearings. You can look around, start to breathe and enjoy yourself. That's a lot easier if you've got a floaty in. And that's where we come in. But until you reach that comfort zone, transitions lead to anxiety. Most of our group are parents, and we know that at every age and stage, there are transitions. And often that leads to anxiety due to a simple lack of information. Like, when we're talking about new kids in college, they're wondering where their classes are, and maybe they're wondering how to make spaghetti. So our project is an effort to address the anxiety by alleviating and answering some of these unknowns. And there's nothing like this in Oak Park. We met with folks from 2 local organizations, the E-Team and Success of All Youth, and they agreed that there is a gap. They also agreed that a resource fair was not the answer. And while the high school offers some after-high school sessions, none of it focuses on the nitty-gritty and the mundane stuff that we're talking about. We've also got Sugar Beet Schoolhouse that offers some local cooking classes, but those tend to be for younger kids. So we really are looking at home economics and financial literacy as high school options that still leave kids feeling like they're not ready for the next step. So our outcomes will include making the transition easier, making high school grads aware of resources that do exist, and also connecting them with this community. To start honing in on the content that kids actually need, we've created a survey, and we've shared that with some high school kids to get their feedback so that we're actually tapping in to what they care about and not touching on something for the 1,000th time that they don't need to learn. So our topics include personal finances, safety and security, health and wellness and spaghetti, civic engagement, connecting to your community, and time management, which you've just told us some of you still struggle with, and I do as well. So what we're closing in on is a resource that will have just the information we need at just the right moment.
All right, so the name of our solution is Next Steps OPRF. It's a 3-tiered approach that includes graduation cards, a YouTube channel, peer-to-peer mentoring, which we're also calling a bridge program. My team is going to go ahead and hand out our cards. So what we intend to do is distribute 850 cards to the class of May 2020 graduates from Oak Park River Forest High School. So these are cards from the community to the community. So the first thing I want to make sure to point out is that on the front, it simply says congratulations, right? We're giving them an attaboy, attagirl. It's something that they should feel proud about that they accomplished. But then on the back, we're asking them, do you know how to check your credit score, make spaghetti, manage your time, etc.? Ultimately driving them to our YouTube channel. But before that, recognizing that transitions are hard. So we chose YouTube on purpose because we know millennials and Gen Z, do they want to read a book? No, right? They want to watch a 2 to 3 minute video. Maybe that's how they'd like to learn how to cook spaghetti. So right now we have some generic videos that we found all over YouTube to put into our channel. We also have a movie star actually standing up here. So Karen has created a video on how to light your stove that is also part of our YouTube channel. Believe it or not, Karen has 500,000 likes on that page. That's right. That's right. So because of Karen, we know that the young people are going to love our YouTube channel. So what we hope to do is have more community members contribute their talents to this YouTube video so that this is again a project for the community and by the community. And then finally, our third tier to this solution includes a peer-to-peer bridge program where we recruit Dominican and Triton students to send personalized graduation cards inviting OPRF graduates entering either Dominican or Triton to connect before the fall semester. This is so that those high school students that are graduating might be able to learn different life skills like how to sew a button or how to make spaghetti, etc. And they can connect with their peer ahead of time before classes start, and they can maybe meet on campus to show each other the classes and things like this. So this peer-to-peer mentoring and bridge program is based on life skills for the community and from the community.
So we've talked about the data, ideas, solutions, but the important question remains, how do we get all of this done? How do we execute? In the wise words of Vanilla Ice, we stop, collaborate, and listen. We stop. This gets a little tricky in real life because we don't have the signs that tell us that we really need to stop. We have to. We also have to breathe and observe. This is mindfulness. We model mindfulness, especially for our teens. We collaborate. You've heard about our institutional partnerships with Dominican, OPRF, and Triton. Our true goal is to forge deep relationships with people at these institutions. People like Jamie, who counsels and teaches students at Dominican, many of whom are first-generation college students. Jamie's wisdom and humor has really guided our group and our project. Lastly, we listen. This project was partially born out of listening. I have a son who is transitioning to college in the fall. As we started to meet to brainstorm potential ideas about our project, my son started vocalizing an unusually high level of anxiety about the transition. I was worried and I was also surprised. I thought he was well prepared, he's usually pretty confident, and I tried not to helicopter parent. Last week, we attended his university orientation, and I heard some tough transition stories from other students and families. Ultimately, I'm truly grateful for this project and this experience because it's helped me to become a more empathic listener around transition issues.
So this is phase one of our project, but we see this expanding down the line. And some of those expansions include a parent-to-parent bridge program. We feel like there's an opportunity there. And also focusing in on special populations such as first generation and learners with special needs, as we see that there's a special need among those groups in terms of transitions. Finally, it can expand geography. Right now it's for Oak Park River Forest community, but we see this expanding into other communities as well.
And listen, some of you might know recent high school grads. And if you do, you may know that they're feeling some stress right now. Send them over to our YouTube channel. It's a virtual care package and they might just find something helpful in there. Thanks for your time.